Hello ladies and gentlemen, my name is Oxyblock and I want to welcome you to a new tutorial series on Redstone. Now, I just noticed that a lot of the Redstone videos, tutorials that are out there are really technical, really techy. They assume that we know how all components work, what exactly they do, and let's be honest, that's usually not the case. So I wanted to call this tutorial series Redstone for the Average Joe. So I'm gonna be going in detail about specific traits of each component. So the goal for this video will be not for you to be able to make a machine right away, copycat some design that I made, but instead to actually understand how Redstone behaves, what components are supposed to do, how you can use them, so that you still can go and copy other people's machines, but you actually will be understanding what they are doing, and eventually you'll find yourself not actually having to go to YouTube every single time to copy a simple, oh, of course, distractions. But as I was saying, you will not have to copy every single time all machines. You'll understand them. You'll be able to work some redstone of your own, even if it's not the simplest or the most straightforward or the most item consuming. You'll be able to work, and that's definitely the goal for this video, for us to slowly become redstone independent. So, without further ado, let's get to it. Well, now that the distractions are gone, we can go ahead and begin with the tutorial, and of course we're going to begin with redstone dust. Now this is the core component that you're going to be using in all your contraptions. You're going to use it for recipes, you're going to use it to transmit energy, so it's going to be probably the most important component, if not the most important. You're going to be finding it in an ore form in the world. Don't worry, it appears very often, and there's also other ways to farm this material, such as witch farms, etc. Now, we have to use a pickaxe of level iron or better in order to break this and for it to drop redstone dust. We can then compact redstone dust onto blocks if we want to save some storage space, or we can actually just silk touch the ore and then break it once we need it. The first important thing to know about redstone is how far does it actually go. It is not unlimited power. Unlimited power! No. It only lasts 15 blocks. So as we can see, this line is 15 blocks long and it powers the redstone lamp. If we go back and we flick the second lever, this line is 16 blocks long, so this redstone lamp at the end is not on. Now if we go to F3, we can see on the right side how power shows a level of 0 while here it shows a level of 1. It is important to note that redstone power, it's not gonna affect how bright these lights, how fast or strong a piston extend. It's not gonna matter. It's only gonna be a matter of on or off, 1 or 0. If there's some power coming in, it'll turn on. If there's no power, it will turn off. Now we can move on to how redstone interacts with blocks in the world, how you can move it around to fit your necessities, and for the most part, this makes sense. This is pretty common sense. Redstone can go up through solid blocks. As you can see, you can make turns on solid blocks, you can go down on solid blocks. Just note that it has to be a 1 block movement. If there was a 2 block drop, redstone will not keep on going. And here you can see something very interesting about redstone is that you can split a line vertically and downwards if you use a half slab. If this was not a half slab and then we had used a sandstone full block, as you can see here, only the top one is going to be turned on. As you can see, the line cuts here and it does not connect to the bottom half. If we use a slab and we reconnect it, both are going to be on because this redstone line is able to continue through the top slab as well as has space to go through the bottom slab. This is going to be really useful for many contraptions and you'll see a lot of YouTubers using it. Now there are other blocks that are full blocks but are not considered opaque blocks. They are transparent. These are, for example, glass. Glass will now we're gonna be able to put redstone on top of glass. We weren't able before. I know Bedrock had this trait, but recently Java got it as well. Now it's important to note that it only goes up. It does not go down when it comes to transparent blocks. It does not go down through glass, so this lamp is not powered. These two pieces of redstone do not have energy. Now, continuing with redstone and its behavior, it is important to know how different Java redstone to Bedrock redstone is. In Bedrock, each one of these pieces will be connecting to the lamps, and every single lamp would turn on. Now, this is Java, and it's a little different. If redstone is not pointing directly at a lamp, at a piston, or anything that interacts with it, it's not gonna power it. We can see it here, how only the last lamp is on. All of these are off. Now what happens if I put a redstone dust here? That this lamp will turn off. This redstone line is not powering it anymore since it's not going through it, as we can see. So let's take a look on how redstone works. So we can see that if redstone is right underneath a block that could be powered by it, that's not affected. We can see that if it's powering a solid block, it's gonna actually turn on the lamp underneath it, it's gonna turn on the lamp next to it. This could be pistons, this could be anything else, it's gonna transmit it. And finally, this is not bedrock. We cannot, and I repeat, you cannot do any redstone contraption with redstone dust underwater, because this is what will happen. It'll be wiped away, you'll be pulling your hairs and screaming, and never doing this again. So be very careful about where you build your contraptions. Don't let water get in, and be very mindful of carrying a water bucket on your hotbar or anything like that, because you may want to put a lamp and instead you put some water, and it's let's just say it's not pretty. It's not pretty. So there you go, that's redstone dust for you, and we can move over to the torch. Now this is the first item that we're gonna have to craft, and as you can see, it's a pretty easy crafting recipe. It's just a redstone dust and a stick, very similar to a torch, and we'll get a redstone torch. What a redstone torch does is it's a power source. It actually can power redstone dust, it can power components, and it has a power of 15. As we can see here, of a little bit of its behavior, it is powering the top block and the block right next to it. It is not powering the block it's on. That's very important to remember. This block, if you can see it, is just power because this block is powered, so it transmits power sideways. Now, be mindful that this transfer only comes from the source energy block. If I was to place a next lamp here, this block is not gonna transfer energy anymore. Now, why do I have this line here? Because I wanted to show you something. Redstone torches can turn off. If you power a redstone torch, it will shut off. As we can see here, we're powering this block, so in turn, the redstone torch turns off. And because of it, all of these lanterns turn off. So I spoke about transferring power upwards and downwards. Well, as we can see here, we have two matching columns of redstone torches. As you can see, one is on and the next one is off because this one is powering the block and it turns this one off. So this one can be on and off and so on. Say that we wanted to have a circuit in where we want to turn on this lamp. Well, if we power this one, every single torch is going to invert. And because they're going to invert, the lamp turns on. So it's a very, very simple, compact way to turn on and off lamps or transmit energy upwards. But what if we want to go down? How are we going to do that? Well, this is a very simple design that also shows a particularity of the torch, and that is that it will power redstone that is in the block immediately under it. So in this case, this redstone torch is powering this redstone dust, which we know from over here powers the block that it's on, thus turning on the next one, and such and so. Very similar concept to this, but going downwards by making the use of dust. So if we wanted to turn on that lamp, we can do so by flicking the lever and inverting every single torch there is. This is a redstone repeater, as you can see here. Now the crafting recipe for this is a little more extensive. You can see that it has to have some stone. Note that cobblestone will not work, some redstone dust, and redstone torches on a crafting table. What this does, primarily the main thing that you need to remember is it extends the power of redstone dust. When you reach 15, you can use a repeater to extend its power. You will just put it down and it will have back again a power of 15, as you can see over here in the right. Thus, this line is not powering the lamp, but this one, of course, is powering the lamp. Another trait that the redstone repeater has is over here you can see that it has two torches as we use in the crafting recipe. Well, you can actually right click it and move the back torch back. What that is gonna do is add or subtract delay. When we speak about delay, we speak about how long does it take for the energy to get to its final destination. Over here, if I flick this, this is just gonna have a 1 tick delay. It's gonna go through and it's gonna get onto this lamp right away. As I flick it, the lamp will turn on. Over here we have a repeater set on 1 tick, on 2 ticks, 3 ticks, and 4 ticks. So we're gonna see that each lamp and each note block turns off slightly after than the next one. Let's take a look. You see how this one is basically at the same time as we flick it, and each one goes a little bit slower. You're gonna see how a lot of YouTubers say like, set a redstone repeater to 3 ticks, this one to 2 ticks, this one to 1 tick, and that's what they mean. That what they mean is like, let's delay the transfer energy a little bit so that we have time for other things to happen in the meantime, and then do this trick. Another trait that the redstone repeater has that the redstone does not is that it can power blocks. While redstone is going onto this block is not powered. This one actually is because it has a redstone repeater going through it so the lamp is turned on. This is going to be very useful and we're going to see it in a lot of redstone contraptions as it is needed to power blocks to power any other entities, and we'll be seeing that. So last but not least, here's a little bit of a trait that the redstone repeater has that is not used very often, and that is that it can lock other redstone repeaters. What this means is that this line is actually powering the lamp, but if I lock the redstone repeater by turning on a redstone repeater facing the original repeater, it actually locks it. What that means is that I can turn off the original power and it's going to remember that it had that power and that the lamp needs to be on. Now it's not this repeater turning it on, but just this repeater being locked and understanding that it needs to keep on powering that lamp. Now this also happens the other way around. If the original input was to be off and I lock it and off, it will not take any input signal and it will not turn on the lamp. So there we have it. That's actually quite a bit of information on the redstone dust, the redstone torch, and the redstone repeater. And the reason I was giving you so much information, as I said before, is because I want you guys to be able to understand what each component actually does, their behavior, and what they do. Next time you see a Mambo Jumbo episode, next time you see Il Mango in action, you will be able to identify some of their circuits. You'll be understanding how their machine works, and I think that's a great thing. So if you are excited as I am, please subscribe to the channel so you don't miss the next Average Joe Redstone episode, and hit the like button. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, and I'll see you guys on the next episode. Goodbye.